Hi Aquarius, here is a general look at your solar chart for June 2016. This is Diana in a cozy little camping car reporting to you from the orange growing area of Spain. Beautiful scent of orange blossom in the air mixed in with the sea and the Mediterranean pines, and somehow or other it just all makes an amazing perfume. So it's quite a treat to be here. Now, just a little word about the general picture before we get on with your chart, and that is that there's been a lot of, as I may have mentioned last month, a lot of Neptune around, a lot of Jupiter Neptune last month, that would be May, and that is like lack of clarity, a danger of being led up the garden path, a danger of not seeing somebody as they really are. Maybe even idolizing a certain person or a certain sort of set of concepts or belief system, and maybe just evading or avoiding or escaping. All of these types of ideas can be interpreted from Jupiter Neptune. It, of course, you know, the finer points can only be known from the position of Jupiter Neptune in your natal chart, and also where they are in relation to each other in natal charts. So, but in a general way, there's been this kind of perhaps this lack of that clarity, that deeper perception going on, but on the upside, it can mean a feeling of affinity, or maybe even, you know, say a kind of a higher knowing, and a connection on those sorts of levels. But Jupiter Neptune tend not to be very grounded, so that's why it's good that this month we have Saturn coming in stronger again. So I mentioned Saturn at the end of last year, I think, in December, and I'm mentioning Saturn again because she's coming in to get that Jupiter Neptune more grounded. In fact, it's going to be Saturn Neptune really after about the first week of this month, and then that'll go on until October. So this is quite a major long-running transit, and this one, it can work in various ways again. It depends on what kind of mood they are in your chart at the moment, in your natal chart, but also where they were when you were born. But in a general way, the transit can present us with various kind of triggers for us to respond to, because of course the planets haven't got an opinion about how they want us to respond. They're completely impartial. They have a consciousness, I'm sure, but they are completely impartial. They're just part of the consciousness of the all and everything, and we are the one that tend to break things down into logical, analytical thought, and also we respond to the, as I call it, the astrological weather. So the astrological weather can well, there's a plethora of ways that we can respond to that weather. So at the moment, you know, there's a lot of dreams and idealizations flying around, a lot of uncertainty, I would say, a kind of a vagueness about, you know, which is the right way to go, or what to believe in, and what to identify with. And there is also, I would say, coming in more a kind of fretfulness, a kind of worrying about things that probably will never happen. And this is a real kind of hallmark with Saturn and Neptune, if it gets us at a certain stage in our life. But if we are generally happy and settled, then that sort of lack of confidence and insecurity, which, as I say, is usually a bit of a fantasy, then that won't disturb us very much. So as I say, it always depends on where these things are sitting in your original natal chart, and also where you are on your timeline now anyway. So one of the ways this can work is that it gets us being very kind of imagining the worst, but perhaps hoping for the best as well. But there's a lot of dreams and idealizations wafting about at the moment, and maybe people painting pictures which they're not going to be able to follow up on if it's on the wider stage external to us. If it's within our personal life or just within us, there is this triggering of this uncertainty, this lacking of confidence, this insecurity, likely. But also, just as likely, there is a triggering of an ability to make dreams come true, because quite literally Neptune rules dreams, imagination, the unconscious, and those sort of powers on the inner planes, and Saturn rules the material, physical structures of the world. So actually, if you put those two together on that level, it really is quite news. You know, it's really, really a yummy sandwich. Or you could say maybe, I don't know, sweet and sour. I mean, two unlikely flavors coming together, and then actually they can be very, very successful together, and you can realize ambitions, you can realize dreams, you can manifest what your ideal situation would be. But it does mean working from the inner, really, to the outer. I don't know that it particularly works the other way around, but if you can think of an example of that, do let me know. So now this is a time for us to, I think, strive to be more realistic. Now that we're getting Saturn, the reality check planet, coming in, and the fading away of Jupiter Saturn, because they've sort of had center stage for quite a few weeks now, but the fading away of that. Then we get our feet more on the ground, we get more of the factual side of things. However, there's still a lot of Neptune in the mix, so I think we just have to strive to balance our become realistic without becoming too pessimistic. That's another problem with Saturn and Neptune. If it's vibrating, if we respond to it, and our reception of that energy is that we start vibrating on this fretful, kind of quite negative level. If we respond to it on a higher level, like, oh, this is good, I can make my dreams come true, you know, or I can help with the group dream coming true in this very kind of wholesome, healthy sort of way as I see it. And of course there's a load of choices as well, but as I see it, then that's a faster, higher level to be responding to that Saturn Neptune. That's how I'm thinking about it. Of course, there are as many different ways of thinking about it as probably there are astrologers. But to me, the fretful, worrying side, and maybe even having nightmares, because of course Neptune does rule sleep and dream, is not as preferable as having amazing dreams which you wake up and maybe even take some material from and write down. And that's fluctuating on a higher kind of level. That's more positive. The lower levels, of course, are undermining, and at the moment as well, there are plenty of people out there. This is taking it out further globally, right? There are plenty of people out there who would have us, who want to press the fear button in us. You know, if you decide to go this way, then these terrible things are going to happen. And that is, again, where kind of that Saturn-Neptune energy can really, really start kind of getting under our skin. So that's, you know, that is quite a low vibration. So really this is a period when there's a danger of getting things out of proportion and shooting ourselves in the foot. This is a time to balance the ultimate ideal with how we'd love things to turn out, with where we are right now on the timeline, because it is about timing. Some again, externally, some would have us believe, oh, if you don't do it, it's now or never sort of thing. Make up your mind now. But actually, it's not the right time on the timeline to make a huge, major, dramatic change. Apart from well, it'll be a work in process. I was going to say, apart from those people that maybe got really strong energy coming from Uranus at the moment. But just this month and up until the 29th, we have Mercury going retrograde. And as Mercury goes retrograde, this is not time. If it tends to say that the drive and the vitality of Mars is blunted, the sharpness of Mars is blunted. And therefore it's time to drive firmly towards one's goals, but not to like march off on a major assault on something, you know, a dramatic kind of change. It's not a good time to do that, because with Mars going retrograde until the 29th, if we do something big like that under Mars, or make a decision that could lead to big change under Mars, then it's likely to be a long, slow uphill slog to get that thing to be realized, you see. So it's better, if you're going to be working with the law of attraction or working from the inner place, to be doing it after the 29th of June. And it's about where we are now on the timeline. And okay, modifications, oblique action, gathering facts, you know, and being strategic is good at the moment with Mars retrograde at the same time as this Saturn-Neptune transit. So Saturn-Neptune suggestions would be working consistently towards the common good or a good cause. Also maybe working through arts or dreams, any kind of imagination work, and music particularly, and just healing, spirituality, any kind of nurturing type activity, and using what one has or what one has access to in these kinds of ways, which are nurturing, healing, bringing care and service, maybe to others, if that's what you want to do, but also connecting with nature, working with the Divic energy for some of you, or just connect with nature. And also, of course, there are the angelic realms as well. So this is good to be doing that at the moment with Saturn, Neptune, and Saturn loves that building, us to be getting on with the building up of something new, and Neptune is just kind of all places all the time without any boundaries at all. So if you do bring in the containment of Saturn, in your particular case you've got Saturn in a very helpful angle to your sun sign, so this is working, or maybe just interacting in a more kindly, compassionate way within the group that you're in, or that you're trying to find your level in, that trying to find your place in, or with friends, you know, maybe doing something together which is helping others, or maybe it's getting into a group which is centered around music or dance, or which is centered around something which more feeds the soul than maybe the physical, but in a routine, consistent, structured kind of a way, which is very Saturn. So it might be like that, integrating that Saturnian, Neptunian vibe into your connections like that, within your peer group, within the hierarchy of your organization, whatever it is. And Saturn is in this helpful angle, helping you to build up and cultivate yourself into this hierarchy, whether it's in your personal or professional sort of life. And you Aquarians born the 29th of January to the 2nd of February, you're going to be feeling that energy the most at the moment, or with 10 to 14 degrees of Aquarius rising. Now there's a couple of other things going on in the first week energy's down, vitality might be down, or you just feel that you know, the responsibilities are pressing on you a little bit more strongly. So maybe don't, if you can possibly manage it, schedule anything particularly having to deal with bureaucracy in the first week. And also, but if you do, then you just push your way through. And then in the last day, maybe going on into the first day of July or the second, so maybe we'll say in the last 2 days of this month and the first 2 days of July, there's Venus opposite Pluto, some kind of big change going on there, related to your relationships, or related to the dynamic, just the balance of things, of the relationship. And it could be to do with financial things, it could be to do with shared things, properties, monies, shared things, but it might just mean that there's some kind of shift of gears in a relationship, or with finances. Okay, I mean, much of June looks good, and we've got a very bright, sort of playful vibration around up until the 21st. Really looks like fun, and it's making new friends, meeting up with old friends even, enjoying occasions and outings and entertainments, boosting your love life, maybe very playful. And there could be lots of socializing going on, you feeling empowered, you feeling that you're doing things that you're really enjoying, maybe creatively, maybe with arts and entertainments, or the leisure industry or the entertainment industry and that kind of thing.